Rock and roll Chicago, rock and roll Chicago, my hometown. Well, I was born in the city, gonna rock your city, Chicago. Chicago rock and rollers are the best you're ever around. You don't believe me, baby? Well, come on down to Chicago.
Hey, this is Paul Martin
And Ray the Roadie.
for the Rock and Roll Chicago podcast.
Special
goes it today,
edition.
Ray?
It's
It
the
is a
special edition. It's our volume 2 of our video podcasts.
That's right, a vodcast is what we're calling it,
Vodcast.
right?
I'm sorry, it's a vodcast. Yes,
Yes.
yes.
So this week we're bringing you the second album, our second CD by M&R Rush. Am I correct on that?
You've got 2 of them?
They got more than that.
You mean?
But we're bringing
one?
the second one. Yeah, there
Look
you
at
go. I
that.
got one too. Yes.
Yes, we are filled with a plethora of original material.
Yes, it is, and it's got all songs. And this one are written by Carl Mosher. But we'll get to that as we go along, and we'll talk to the guys about each of the songs and the recording experience that they had doing it, and just a little bit about each song.
Sounds good. Why don't we get to the listening party?
Let's do it right now.
All righty. Hey, everybody, it's Ray the Roadie with the Rock and Roll Chicago podcast. It's been a whole week since our last time we met up with these guys. This week, we're bringing you their second album, M&R Rush's The Thrill of the Chase. Take it away, Marty.
Hey, Ray, thanks. I appreciate it. Happy Saturday to everybody. This is our second one, talking about our second album, not Reach for the Stars. What the heck?
The Thrill of the Chase.
Thrill of the Chase. Thanks, Carl. Appreciate that. This is the album that we wrote after being on vacation for about 16 years. We went and got what we call real jobs, and we did not play together for 16 years until one day we had a party at my house after our annual golf outing. And we went back to the house, and my son, Kevin, was playing with his band, practicing. And before you know it, we all picked up the instruments and started jamming for the first time in 16 years. And what we did after that is we decided to start playing shows again. You remember that, right, John?
Oh, yeah. Yep. And so when we first got back together and we've decided to get out there and perform, we wanted to have a product to sell to our fans that were interested in getting our music. So the first thing we put out was the CD that we talked about last week, the Rock and Roll Chicago CD, which had a lot of songs from the previous years. And then we agreed it was time to put something together brand new. So we talked about going in the studio and recording a new CD, which we did, and it took a year. We released it in 2004, and what happened was we said, "Well, who's got some songs?" And Carl said, "I got about 20 of them," and I said, "Well, I got about 20 half songs, and I know the rest of the guys had a bunch of ideas, but since Carl's were finished, we did them all. We did, well, not all 20 of them, right?
No.
But all the songs on this CD were written by Carl. How many we got here, Carl? 11.
11.
So the first one, which was a new one. We have some in here that we re-recorded one or two, but the first one was brand new, right, Carl?
Yeah, Wrap Me Up. It's was the new direction for the band because Jeff, I wanted Jeff to sing that one, and Jeff had like the highest range, and I wanted to test his limits, and so
Yeah.
we got his cojones in the vice, and we let him sing.
You remember that, Jeffrey?
No. No, I don't remember. Yeah, actually, I was over my head with it. Those keys were really hard to sing.
Yes, I remember. I said, Jeff, you could do it, baby. You could do it. Come on. You can hit it. You can get it.
Well, you know, it's the wildest part that I remember about that, and Raj, you can chime in on this one, is that we did not even hear the song before we went in the studio that day. And Carl taught Roger and I what he wanted us to play on the song Wrap Me Up. So it was, we got there, we learned the song, and then we played the song. And that was it. I mean, we didn't know what the song was supposed to sound like at all, right, Raj?
Yeah, it's exactly right. It's interesting. We've done that on several songs where the ideas are there, we play the song, and then it goes down the record, goes down on the record. The interesting thing about that song, when Jeff, we did it live for the first couple times, and we actually opened up with that song, and Jeff had to sing those high notes right off the bat. I'm like, I was impressed that he was able to handle that and do a good job on it.
Thanks, Raffy.
Yeah, it was awesome.
Yeah, Jeffrey did a great job on the lead vocal, and then as the song started to materialize, I know Carl had ideas for the harmonies, but we just put the classic M&R Rush harmonies in there, and it turned out great. And it's called, what's it called, Carl?
It's called Wrap Me Up.
Spend some time with me. Hope you think you could tell me what your plan
Well, that was Wrap Me Up. Next song on deck is Million Seller, and here's Carl.
Yeah, Million Seller, M&R Rush played that song many times during the 70s. And so when it came time for us to record that song, it was like really tight. It's like all the music parts in there just like fit together perfectly. The thing new about this version was I used to sing half the song and Paul sang the other half for the lead part. But now with Paul and Jeff in the band, I wanted Jeff to sing my part. So Jeff sings the higher part, and then Paul comes in and sings the other part during the verse. And John came in always like on the bridge and did his parts. But that song has great double leads in the song. It has a lot of flying keyboards going through the song, and I got a new synthesizer. I got the Motif 7, and it had a lot of cool sounds, so I wanted to get him into that song.
And I was just going to say, and I think that's the only song we've ever done where three guys shared the lead vocals.
Yes.
We've done back and forth with 2 guys, but we've never done 3 lead vocalists. So yeah.
That's what I was going to say. I like the way we switch around on the vocals on that one, and it goes from Jeff to me and back and forth, and then John, you do the bridge in there in the chorus.
Yeah, I remember the change of that you did, Carl, when we recorded it. You came up to me and you have a great way of expressing drums, you know. You went to me, do this, Marty. And I looked at Carl and says, what the heck is he talking about? But it ended up coming out real good, Carl, because of your guidance on how I should start that song out.
Yeah, I remember the song going through a lot of changes. I don't know, maybe 3 or 4 different changes, but I think the final result was the best.
next up is the name of the album itself, The Thrill of the Chase.
Ray, I'll take this one. I just got to say is typical 70s song. When Carl again comes and says to me, this is what I would like you to play. He always suggests what he liked me to play. I didn't listen to him all the time, Carl, but he says to me, hey, you need some cowbell in here. And so there's cowbell in this song. And the reason why there's cowbell in this song is because of Carl Mosier wrote the song and he asked me to play cowbell in the song. I'm not a big cowbell fan, but there's cowbell in this song for you, Carl.
Hey, that's very, very timely, Marty. I just got a new pedal today. You see my new pedal? It's a cowbell pedal.
There you go. So John could play that part now, Mark. You guys remember the controversy over the lyrics of the song? I guess
No.
not. Well, this is the only song that I had to change words in the song because the guys refused to record it with the words that I had in there. So they said, hey, Carl, we all have daughters. You can't say that in the song. Remember?
I do remember that now, Carl.
Yes. And so
I remember it vaguely, but I don't remember exactly what we said.
Okay, the lyrics were, she grabbed my waist.
Oh, wait a minute. Do we want this to be going on now in
Yeah.
fall or what? You want to hear this story?
I'm just telling the one line. She grabbed my waist and pulled me close. Okay? That could not be in the song. So I had to change the words to she grabbed my hand and pulled me close.
I thought there was more to it than just that.
Well, that's the one I remember. What else was there?
I don't know, but I don't think we want to know.
Yeah.
I agree.
Check the master tapes.
Well, let's give it a listen.
Okay.
The thrill of the chase is all around you. The thrill of the chase is all around you. When you came into the room, suddenly the whole room came alive. Then you stood right next to me. I saw that little smile you tried to hide. When I looked into your eyes, this crazy feeling came right over me. Is this fate or just a fantasy? You know I'm gonna stick around and see. The thrill of the chase is all around you. Baby, let's go one-on-one tonight. The thrill of the chase is all around you. You know that's the part I always like. You grabbed my hand and pulled me close. You pulled me right inside your power zone. Your fragrance filled all of my air, like no other woman I had known. I could feel your arms envelop me as we moved as one across the floor. Then you whispered in my ear, hope that this will happen a lot more. The thrill of the chase is all around you. Baby, let's go one-on-one tonight. The thrill of the chase is all around you. You know that that's the part I always liked.
next song, Rock and Roll Chicago, you might remember we played it last week on the first album. And actually the one from the first album, that was the actual version that was on the Loop album. We just did some remixing to it and some tweaking, Jeff and I in the studio. But when we decided to do this new record, we decided to re-record it. And I was extremely happy with that idea because on the original version that made it on the Loop album, I forgot my wah-wah pedal at home. And we were at the studio in downtown Chicago, and we finished the whole song, the vocals and everything. For some reason, we waited to the end for my guitar solo. And I went to grab my wah-wah pedal, and it was gone. I forgot it. And as a guitar player, when you're used to playing a solo a certain way for years, and all of a sudden it's not there, it's kind of, I felt naked. And every time I hear the solo on the Loop album, I cringe. So we got an opportunity to re-record the song, and I got to use my wah-wah pedal. And it's amazing. It sounds, the song itself sounds great. It sounds almost as good as the original, but with the extra, more modern production. But what we're going to play for you right now, this is a video that a good friend of ours, Bob Reese, who passed away a couple of years ago, he put this video together using some old pictures and collages of M&R Rush from some stage shows. And he put this little video together, and it's of the original version, but we thought it would be appropriate to play it right now for you. And here it is, Rock and Roll Chicago.
Radio Amor. $25 gifts. I've been there.
In 1980, the airwaves of the Midwest were dominated by Chicago radio's 97.9, The Loop. During this time, The Loop released their very first hometown album featuring Chicago talent. The most requested band from the album, as well as the year's number 45 song for the station, was M&R Rush. The song, Rock and Roll Chicago. 30 years later, the Midwest is still rocking to M&R Rush.
Churches I was preached, learn the hell
Chicago's rock station, 97.9 The Loop. Oh, boy. When's the last time you heard that one? It's been a long time, huh? Rock and Roll Chicago, M&R Rush. We're busting out a lot of deep cuts and lost tracks just like that one all weekend long. More of the deep cuts. Oh, Rainbow on the way, Aerosmith, and the mighty Led Zeppelin gets the treatment next.
Okay, When I'm With You, this song was one of those songs where Marty says, "You got another song?" And I said, "Yeah, I got one that we've been working on. I think we even played this one a couple of times. But this song, I remember writing it. I had a little bit of fun with the lyrics. So like in the first verse, I wanted to see how many words I could use with the T in it. So the first lines go, "When times get tough, I turn to you." I think I got 4 T's like in that first verse. So listen and see for that. And then at the end of the lines, I couldn't decide if I wanted to say, "There's no problems I can find," or "There's no problems I confide." So listen to see what I said, because I don't remember which one I said for that part. So here is When I'm With You.
When times get tough, I turn to you. You may not have an answer, but baby, that'll do. You take me in, your love you never hide. When I'm with you, baby, there's no problems I can find. When I'm with you, baby, there's nothing I'd rather do. When I'm with you, I get a totally different point of view. When hours pass slow and I've somewhere to go, I spend the time with you on my mind. I need you so, more than you know. So don't hesitate, 'cause baby, I can wait. When I'm with you, baby, there's nothing I'd rather do. When I'm with you, I get a totally different point of view. When I'm with you, baby, there's nothing I'd rather do. When I'm with you, you get a totally different. When I'm with you, baby, there's nothing I'd rather do. When I'm with you, I get a totally different point of view. Different point of view.
Wish I Only Knew. I mean, what I remember about it the most was the beginning of the song, how we just harmonized really well together. And the song kind of rocks and has harmony, and it ends abruptly, but pretty dramatically. And I always loved singing the song, and I always thought we harmonized great together on this song.
Yeah, when I
What
wrote
about you, John?
when I wrote "Wish I Only Knew," we used to do a song by Yes called "The Seen All Good People," and it started out with harmony. And I said, you know what? I want to write a song where we just start out with harmony. So that's where the idea came for "Wish I Only Knew," for that. And I can remember we would play like Seton High School or Queen of Peace or any girls' high school. And when we would sing "Wish I Only Knew," by the time we came around to sing it again, all the girls in the front row were looking at Roger going, "Wish I only knew what would make you love me."
I
Yeah,
remember playing this song about 2 years ago. We had a request for it. We were playing in Pontiac, Illinois,
Oh my God.
and we had a request for it, and we pulled it off. It came out pretty good.
Yeah.
And we hadn't played it in quite a few years.
No, I remember that being a big hit in Pontiac too. I remember when back in the 70s when we would play there, they would ask us to play "Wish I Only Knew." So
Well, to show you how far this song does go back. You guys remember? You remember this? This was how we promoted ourselves back in the mid 70s. This is something many of you may not even know what this is. Jeff, you know what this is.
The chorus tape? Yeah.
Yep.
Yeah.
So this is the first demo we did of Wish I Only Knew, 3 minutes and 9 seconds long, 7.5 IPFs, quarter track. And we'd send this out to the record companies. We'd send this to the clubs so they could see, we were trying to book venues, and we would send this out to them. And and this one I dedicate to my sister Kathy. This is her favorite M&R Rush song, Wish I Only Knew.
Wish I only knew what would make you love me. Wish I only knew what would make you love me. Wish I only knew what would make you love me. I've tried so hard to get through to you. You won't or don't understand. I've tried so hard to be true to you, to be just me, just who I am. Wish I only knew what would make you love me. Wish I only knew what would make you love me. It's just so easy to make love to you. I doubt you know just what it means. It's just too easy to make love to you. I doubt that you're into all those things. Wish I only knew what would make you love me. Wish I only knew what would make you love me. I've tried so hard to get through to you. You won't or don't understand. I've tried so hard to be true to you, to be right, be just who I am. What I say? Wish I only knew what would make you love me. Wish I only knew what would make you love me. Wish I only knew what would make you love me. Wish I only knew what would make you love me.
Just a reminder that you're listening to
And watching
the Rock and Roll Chicago podcast,
special edition vodcast.
Volume 2. Well, the next one is Heavy Metal Christmas, and Carl wrote the song as he did the whole album, or the whole entire CD. But this was the first song that we recorded at Jeff's studio, at Star Trek Studio, if I'm not mistaken.
Yes.
And Carl said, "I want to write a Christmas song," and he did. And it's got we have jingle bells in it, bells playing, and the words are about a guy who's tired of getting the same old crap for Christmas, but it's a fun song and it's fun to sing.
When I wrote the song, I always wanted it, around Christmas time, the stations would pick it up and then it would be a popular song. And in 2016, it was nominated for the Colorado Rock Music Awards. So went on down to Denver for the awards, and of course it was the last award of the night. And a lady by the name of Karen Stevens, her father sang White Christmas before Bing Crosby. She was giving out the award, and she was listing off the songs. And then when it came to us, and she says, and a song from a band in Chicago, M&R Rush, their song, Heavy Metal Christmas. She goes, wow. My dad would have really loved that one. And I turned to Bernadette and I said, no way in hell are we winning this one. And then she got the envelope and she opened it up and she said, and the winner is Heavy Metal Christmas. And so
yeah, that's what I like to hear.
That's good. That's the get. That's it.
So here it is, guys. Here's Heavy Metal Christmas. Can you see it on there?
Yeah, Carl. Why didn't we ever get I thought you got a copy of that for all of us.
I do. I still have it for you.
It's only been 3-4 years. What the heck? Hey, Jeff. I don't know if you remember this about this song. So just to set the tone is. We hadn't recorded for 16 or 17 years, right? And when we recorded, it was in analog, right? Yeah. And here we are in 16 years later, and I'm laying down the track for the drums and bass, and the track's really going really pretty hot. I'm excited about the way I played it, and then at the end, there's a little ditty at the end with drums in it, and I dropped the stick. And so I freaked out. It was the first time recording in 16 years. And I went nuts saying, oh man, we got to do that whole thing all over. This is a bunch of crap. And then Jeff, do you remember what you said to me?
No.
No. Okay. I'll feed you this information though. So he says, Marty, relax. You're like a dinosaur out there. Is that the new technology is digital. And all I have to do is push a couple buttons on the computer, and we can just slide that ending in with the drums again without no problem. And it was like, whoa, you want to talk about not understanding something that you did a long time recording in the recording studio, and then 16 years later or whatever it was to be told, oh, you have no clue how to record anymore. It was pretty eye-opening. Just like this technology that we're using today to talk to everybody. And by the way, it took me 45 minutes to get into this session because my computer wasn't working right. But that's what I really remember about that song.
And Marty
wow,
has
a touch of reality of learning,
and Marty,
what the recording process has changed and what it's all about. So.
And Marty hasn't dropped a stick since then.
Paul. Paul, I never think that you ever watch me when I play, but obviously you watch me all the time. Thanks, Paul. I appreciate that.
Well, let's hear for that stick drop in this song as we listen to Heavy Metal Christmas.
That's what I wanna hear. Aerosmith and AC/DC, on that right I can thrive. The greatest metal ever recorded was when Bon Scott was alive. I want a heavy metal Christmas, a heavy metal Christmas, a heavy metal Christmas. Christmas is here. Hear what I'm saying, honey? That's what I want. I want a heavy metal Christmas, heavy metal Christmas, heavy metal Christmas. Christmas is here. Ted Nugent, even some Kiss. Come on. I want a heavy metal Christmas, I want a heavy metal Christmas. Christmas is here. Black Sabbath, UFO. Come on, fire up some scorpions. I just want my heavy metal.
We played at the Point East back in, it was probably like 1979, 1978. We opened for Survivor, and we had played Goodbye Baby that night. And at the Point East, the bands would share the same dressing room. So Survivor was changing, and then we were going up there back to the dressing room, and Jim Peterick says to me, he goes, "Hey, who wrote that song Goodbye Baby?" And I said that's an M&R Rush song. He said, "Great hook." He said, "Great harmony." So that was like my high moment. Jim Peterick said that I wrote a great hook. So that was very cool. But John has more about this song.
No, I'm not going to add. I'm not going to add anything. That's a great. Hey, Jim Peterick gave you kudos. Let's listen to Goodbye Baby.
So many times I've been fooled in my life. Looks like it just happened again. There's been so many times I thought I found the right one, but then the rest of my life I would spend. One of these days I know that I'll get it right. The only question now is just when. It's been real, it's been nice, it's been more than a slice. Too bad it had to end. So many reasons that just weren't there. I always thought you knew that one of these days I will find the right one. The only question now is just when. It's been real, it's been nice, it's been more than a slice. Too bad it had to end.
everybody. This is the next song. There's not much I can say about it. But I'm Dreaming. It's a song that Carl wrote about the Cubs. And as you can see in the background, I'm a big Cub fan. And Carl always writes these songs. He's written a Bear song, a Cub song, a Sox song, right? You wrote a Sox song too, right?
Yep.
But this one is one of my favorite sports songs that we have put together. It's from me. It just means a lot to me. Thank you for writing it, Carl. I appreciate it.
You're welcome.
Marty, if I could say one thing about it.
Go ahead.
I know that some people complain about my not giving the Cubs enough attention on stage, and I talk too much about the White Sox. But as a White Sox fan, I broke down and sang the song. So there. So I've got the right in order to say, I mean, I at least did that. And so if I want to talk about the White Sox, I'll give myself a little pat on the back and go ahead and do that.
Paul, you did a great job on the song. I love the way I asked you not to put the S on Cubs, and because that's the way Harry Carey said it. So you said Cub every time you sang Cub. You didn't say Cubs, you said Cub. All the words. Ernie Bank never pronounced a G in his life, so that's why it's I'm Dreaming. It's not I'm Dreaming. It's I'm Dreaming. They're winning. It was like if Ernie was saying it. And I try to get as many Cub players from the past into that song, but
yeah, no kidding, because there's so many words in the song. It was impossible to remember them all. I had to have a cheat sheet.
I know, but we were playing somewhere. We did this song, and there was a lady out there that when it goes to the middle part where it's saying, all the names of the players, Kerry Wood, very good, and Mark Brazillanek put some butter on it. She was just like singing it right along with me. I was going, oh my God, she knows all the words. But
if we ever play it live, we'll get her out to sing it.
That's right. But yeah, that's like a history lesson, that song, because it takes it from 79 till 2003. So, but I wrote it for all the Cub fans that weren't around so they could hear all these names. But here it is. I'm Dreaming.
When I was a young boy back in '69, listening to Vince and Lou on the radio, that's when I caught the fever. Cubby fever is something that has stuck with me from oh so long ago. When it was Kessinger to Becker to Banks, Sano Gardner line, Jenkins, Holtzman, Pappas at hand, and the Vulture biding his time. Randy was catching jacks on GN, Billy was out by the vines, and Mr. Cub had promised us the Cubs were gonna shine. I'm dreaming they're winning. The Cubs are in first place. I'm dreaming it's September. The Cubs are in first place. Their next chance came again in '84. When Sutcliffe, Trout, and Eckersley had them knocking at the door. The Daily Double was scoring runs, Harry Carey was having fun, with nicknames and singing "Take Me Out to the Ball Game." It was Larry Bowen to Rhino to the Bull and the Penguin guarding the line, the Bayou Bullet and the Red Baron, the Sarge was out by the vines. In '89 they came real close with Dunston, Dawson, Maddox, and Grace, Mike Bilecki and a pitcher called the Wild Thing. I'm dreaming they're winning. The Cubs are in first place. I'm dreaming it's September. The Cubs are in first place. Bill Buckner, Pete LaCock, Dave Kingman, Lou Brock, Dick Selman, Joe Negro, Bruce Suter, Manny Trio, Yvonne Hazes, Boots Day, Bert Hooten, Brian McRae, Rick Russell, Steve Stone, Jim Hickman, Joe Pepitone. When I was a young boy back in '69, listening to Vince and Lou on the radio, it's when I caught the fever, Cubby fever, something that has stuck with me from oh so long ago. I'm Kerry Wood, very good. Mark Pryor, he's on fire. Sammy Sosa, put one on Waveland. Voices of Lou, 2 for 2. It's Derek Lee, he's 3 for 3. Mark Rezolanic, put some butter on it.
All right, here's the story. I thought of it, it came to my head. We're doing all these stories right now. And when we were doing Goodbye City Lights, that was one of the first times, if not ever, we had a producer. Did you know that? Anybody remember that?
Roman
Yes, sir.
Sawchuk.
Yes, Roman Sawchuk. And he was actually, I was working with him. I was his roadie for Teenage Radiation for a long time. I was his guitar roadie. And when we went in the studio and we were doing Goodbye City Lights, he was talking to me and he says, so how's that session going? And I said, it's going all right. And at that time he was working at the Loop. He was an intern with Steve Dahl. He was helping Steve Dahl. He was always there. It was, hey, Roman, hey, Roman. And he was always there with Steve Dahl. And at that time when we were doing our track, Roman was hanging out with Joe Walsh. And Joe Walsh used to always come into the studio, into Steve's studio, in his robe. And he would go into the studio and he would show up in his robe, walking down whatever street that was downtown to the studio. And I remember that whole time, and it was like, that was when Joe Walsh was crazy. Little did I know he would turn out to be like really, really sharp right now. He's really got his game on. But in between that, we did City Lights. When we were doing City Lights, we went in the studio, and Roman was helping me arrange the guitars. And it was really cool to have the tricks from another guy who was producing records, who was working with guys like Joe Walsh, who would say, oh, here's what you do with the guitar to get this sounding. So those kind of things happened. And it was like touching greatness. You know, the band got to touch greatness. That's how I felt. That's my story, and I'm sticking to it.
And the year was 1986. And the reason I know that is I have the single that we put out.
Here you go.
And it says, Goodbye City Lights, 1986, Ready Records, Side A. And you flip it over. First time I saw her, M&R Rush, Side 1. We had a Side 1 and a Side A. So here we go.
That was a great idea.
And it got airplay. We got airplay in the secondary markets or in the Chicago metro area and central Illinois.
Yeah, well, regarding Goodbye City Lights, I always loved the song. I felt it was one of our best recorded songs, even of all the recordings we've ever done, honestly. Not just because I sing it, but it's one of those songs I think if you listen to it, it's got a great groove in it, and it's a real positive, motivational song. Carl, it's all about going home. You know, that's where paradise is. That's where, you know, he wanted to be. I've always dreamed about going back to the place where I belong. Part of the words in the song, "Goodbye City Lights." Just a great song, and it's a great listen. So here it is, "Goodbye City Lights."
Never Forget You, John. We had finished the CD, and Marty asked if I had one more song, and I said, yeah, there's a song that I wrote the day that John Lennon died. I remember being out at a bar out in Calumet City with some of my cousins. We were watching a football game, and it came on television. Howard Cosell was saying that John had died, and it affected me so that when I went home, I wrote the song, and I could remember recording it in the studio. It's mainly, I think, it's mainly just keyboards with a little bit of drums, and then on the harmony parts for the Give Peace a Chance, I think that's John came in and did the Give Peace a Chance on there. And I remember Jeff, there's a keyboard part right at the end, and it's sort of a like an eerie keyboard part that comes in there. And when I was recording it, I looked over at Jeff, and there were like tears in his eyes. And I said, "Jeff, are you crying?" And he says, "I could feel it. You know, when you played that part, I felt it like if John Lennon was going to heaven." And it turned out pretty good. So here's Never Forget You, John.
Old friend was shot dead today. The Associated Press rained 5 bells, you say. And how recall cells stop this play-by-play. I'll never forget you, John. I won't forget my friend John. I'll never forget you, John. Heard the news say he's dead and gone, but in the hearts of millions he will always live on. He left us with this dream the world should live as one. I'll never forget you, John. Should live as one. I'll never forget you, John. Give peace a chance. Give peace a chance. An old friend was shot dead today. The Associated Press rained 5 bells, you say. And how recall cells stop this play-by-play. I'll never forget you, John. A world should live as one. I'll never forget you, John. Give peace a chance. Give peace a chance.
I want to say goodbye to everybody. I'll see you next Saturday.
Hey, just want to say thanks for tuning in and checking us out. And if, well, first of all, stay safe, keep your social distance. We're going to get through this thing, and we've got lots of shows on the books that hopefully we're going to get to this summer. We look forward to seeing you. And if you enjoyed some of this music that you've been hearing, go to Spotify and the other listening outlets that are out there and make your old M&R Rush channel and you can hear these things that we're playing for you tonight. Be safe.
I just want to thank everyone for tuning in tonight, and thanks for listening to our stories and listening to our music. And everyone have a good week, and hope to see you next week. Thanks.
Hey, thanks for listening, everybody, and we'll catch you next week. I want to make a shout out to all the doctors, the nurses, the first responders, EMTs out there who are putting their lives on the line for us to stay safe and keep ourselves.
Well, hey, we appreciate you guys tuning in on a weekly basis. I think we're going to do another 3 or 4 of these weekly podcasts, and would like to thank Ray for putting it on, Ray and Paul for putting this on. And just take care of yourself, and please wash your hands, use sanitizer, and please be careful. Thanks, everybody.
Hey, everybody, want to thank you for joining us again for this second week on our second album. This is kind of fun for us, new for us, not being able to get together and rehearse and get ready for our playing out live. So we hope that you're enjoying these kind of things like we are, keeping us all together until we can get out of our homes. Thank you so much. And again, just like the other guys, I want to thank all of you for joining us, and also for all the first responders, the doctors that are just doing a phenomenal job trying to get a hold of this virus and getting it leveled out. And we look forward to playing for you live. Thanks so much. Appreciate it. Keep on rocking.
So that was Thrill of the Chase, the guys from M&R Rush, including me. And I'll tell you, they had some stories that I didn't even know about.
I'm telling you, I was very amazed. I mean, the one song about Goodbye, or not Goodbye City Lights, but Never Forget You, John. I thought it was about John Panazzo from Styx. I didn't realize it was John Lennon.
No, it was about John Lennon. Carl wrote that one many years ago, of course, when John Lennon passed away. But we didn't record it until, oh boy, I don't know how many years later. But
I think it was about the time that John Panazzo did pass. That's why I thought it related to John.
I see. Well, it was fun. We had a good time. I hope everybody enjoyed it. And
yeah, I hope you're washing your hands, staying safe, keeping your social distances, listening to the podcast. Every Tuesday, a new edition comes out. Check us out.
Yes, indeed. Yes, indeed. So thanks for listening, everybody. Thanks for watching. Thanks for joining us. We'll catch you next week when we bring you M&R Rush's 3rd CD called Keep on Rockin'.
Right here on the Rock and Roll Chicago podcast, special edition.
Thanks.
Bye.
Rock and Roll Chicago.